Hello and happy Monday. I hope you guys don't have the Monday blues today, but if you do, I'm here to bring the sunshine to you. Come and join me for our grand finale of our final episode in this live stream series. This show has come to an end, at least for now, okay? But come get your final big daily dose of vitamin D3 and welcome back as you're tuning in live or on the replay. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're from and show me some love, okay? We are going to get into it, and I am going to also be sharing with you some more information on next steps, kind of where I'm headed next, as well as the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. We're going to be talking about that as well. So basically, what I'm saying to you is I'm going to be dropping gems as usual. As you know, if you're not new here and you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know I never come to disappoint. So come on and hang in here with me for a little while I have some time for you this morning. And let's go ahead and bring this thing to a beautiful close, okay? Wrapped in a pretty bow, okay? Wrapped in a pretty box with beautiful wrapping paper and a bow on top, okay? How's that? I'm going to be giving you all that I got this morning, okay? My morning. I don't know where you are and what time it is for you or whatever time it is you're watching, but I thank you for being here. It's morning for me. And I'm really super excited. So I want to make sure that we kick those Monday blues to the curb, okay, and give you some motivation today and allow you to feel empowered and motivated to continue to take inspired action, even though I won't be doing this particular live stream series for a while, okay? So we're going to be talking about negotiation today, okay? Empowering you to command the worth you deserve. Now, the reason why that's so important, and I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and simple because I do want to get into next steps and, questions that people have had for me. And again, talking about the virtual summit and all of that good jazz. Okay, here's the thing. When we're talking about negotiations, I don't care whether or not you are in business for yourself, if you are, working as a consultant, coach, or contractor, a 1099 employee, a W-2 employee, regular 9-to-5 job in the traditional corporate world, right? Even any and all of those still equate to the same types of ways that you would negotiate or the ways in which you would go about negotiating. So whether you're negotiating a contract to seal the deal with a, with a contract you are trying to get with someone in corporate America, whether or not you are trying to negotiate your salary or for a promotion or a merit increase or whatever it might be in the corporate arena, whether or not you are negotiating in business, right? As far as, any kinds of negotiation in business, you need to know your worth and you need to know your value, the value that you bring to the marketplace, the value that you bring to these corporations, right? The value that you bring as a human being, as an asset to the people you are working with and for. Okay. So hello to you. Hi. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tag a friend, get somebody else here in the room with us. This is our grand finale for this live stream series. We're wrapping it up today and we're talking about negotiations. And so I want you to understand that you should feel empowered to negotiate and demand what you damn right deserve and what you are entitled to. And a lot of women in particular, especially when you consider in comparison to our male counterparts, not always the case, but most times is true. We don't have the same assertiveness and the same aggressiveness that we actually need in order to succeed in all of these different facets of our business or our brand or our work, when we're in our jobs. And that is problematic for us, right? And we've got to get more assertive and aggressive in demanding what we are deserving of, okay? Commanding that. And so if you want to get good in negotiations for business, you'll have to first be good in the corporate arena, okay? And that's where a lot of women go wrong, okay? You're not negotiating your current salary. You're not promoting or pushing for that promotion. You are not making your employer understand what your value is and that you are worth the raise, right? You're not showcasing and demonstrating to them that you have what it takes. And then if you are, you're not going and putting them, like backing them in the corner, so to speak, and saying, hey, look, I know my worth, I know my value, and then being confident to actually tell them what that is, put it in writing, go back and forth on a negotiation process, tell them this is what you want. Don't take no for an answer. Don't allow rejection to hinder your progress, any progress you're making. Don't let that discourage or dissuade you. And that also translates over to business when you're negotiating contracts. So if you're a B2B and B2C like me, meaning I do direct to consumer sales to clients that I coach, and I'm a consultant, so I also am in negotiation oftentimes with doing sealing the deal for contracts that, as I'm working with people in the corporate arena, right? So I don't work for corporate America as a W-2 employee because I'm no longer in the workforce in that way. But as a 1099 independent contractor and as a business owner, I do negotiations all the time. And even when I was a W-2 employee, I have always gone in with the mindset and the understanding of how important being a great negotiator is. And so as you are thinking about that for yourself, again, doesn't matter, which lane you're in right now, or maybe you're in all the lanes, okay? Each of these lanes still require the same level of confidence. Confidence to charge your prices in business. Okay, if you're in coaching or some other service provider or industry expert, it's the same kind of negotiation practice you need to have and develop those skill sets, that particular skill set when you are negotiating contracts with corporations, organizations, small companies, big companies, right? No matter what the industry is, it is the same when you are negotiating your salary or a promotion or a merit increase or whatever you are trying to negotiate in your job. But it's usually, we're talking money, right? So when you want to seal the deal and make real money moves, which is what we're talking about, this is our themed session today. On Mondays, we do Money Moves Monday. It's all about a mindset shift as well, right? So this is a money mindset shift that you have to make for yourself. And it is a skill you have to develop because negotiation is both a science and an art. Okay. So when you are going into your workforce, right, or into your job and you want to negotiate, specific strategies are required. So you want to make sure that, for example, and even before, by the way, let me back up a bit. Even before you're actually working for the company, you should be in the practice of negotiating what you want your salary to be. Meaning, before you even get the job, before they make the job offer, okay, you already want to be going into the job knowing what you want to charge. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to go from a job to another job or how to get into a job or stay at a job. That's not my ministry here. I am teaching women specifically and exclusively how to make the transition from corporate America. So I'm teaching you how to get out and build your own brand and business in the online space. I am not teaching you how to stay. What I am saying, though, is that you need to first start with the negotiation practices while you're still at your job, as you are using your job to fund your dream business, okay? And because what you learn in the corporate arena transfers over to and translates to what you'll actually be doing as well as a business owner, okay? So does that make sense? Okay, so here's the deal. One of the first things that I want you to consider then is that before you actually get the job, you want to make sure that the negotiation process starts early on. Okay. And what do I mean by that specifically? Well, sometimes in the recruitment process early on, before they even take you through the interview piece, they will ask you, we don't want to waste your time and we don't want to waste our time. So we want to make sure that this is going to be a really good fit for you. So can you tell us what your expectations are as it relates to salary? What are your salary expectations? They may even ask you, what's the salary history been like for you? Like, what did you make on your last and previous jobs? which, by the way, you don't have to disclose, but a lot of people don't know that. They feel trapped. It's a tricky question. You're oftentimes trying to get the job and seal the deal. And especially if you're in a desperate place and really need the job, you might be inclined to disclose information that you otherwise wouldn't if you were in a stronger position and less desperate position, right? So you do not need to disclose that information. And your employer the one you worked for previously and any other employer before the job you're trying to get now, they should not be disclosing that information either when it comes to salary, because that is none of the prospective employees' business, right? They don't have the right to ask that question and get an answer, right? That's actually against the law. Okay. So I'm not going to go too deep in the legalities of this, but just trust and believe I do have not only a business background and a background as a nurse and as a leader in corporate America for 30 years, but I also have an HR background. I am HR certified and trained, and I'm a legal nurse consultant. So I know what I'm talking about. Okay. And employment law and a lot of other, labor laws and all of that is a part of my specialty area. So I'm telling you, and I've done this for a long time. I've been on both sides of the fence, right? So I'm letting you know, both as an employer and as an employee and as a contractor and as a business owner, okay, and as a leader and all of those things, wearing all the different hats, I'm letting you know it's not legal and they don't have the right to share that information. So if that ever happens, just know you can take that to EEOC or the labor board or commissioner's office or what have you, because that could be a penalty against the employer. Okay. So first I want to say that. Now, knowing that, just know that you can say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable disclosing what I was making previously. What I would like to do though is focus on the value that I can bring to this company and how I can be an asset in this role for your department, for this particular position. And that's where I would kind of like the conversation to stay. You know what I mean? And you can say that just like that. You need to be very assured of yourself, right? In order to get in business and have the confidence to charge your worth, or at least what your work is worth, because what you are bringing to the table is priceless. It's invaluable, right? So you may never necessarily charge your worth as a human being, obviously, but you're charging for the knowledge that you have up here, right? The information, the skill set. So you want to take those same transferable skills from corporate and bring it over to your business aspects of business as well. Okay. So you let them know, going back to the corporate world, you let them know before you get the job. This is what, first of all, you got to be clear on what it is you're wanting out of this deal. What are you expecting? What are you expecting as far as salary? What are you expecting as far as benefits compensation? What are you expecting as far as any bonuses or perks? Like, what are you coming in here wanting and requesting so that you can put that out on the table as a part of the negotiation, right? As you're going through that process, you just let them know, this is my minimum salary expectation. But before you go there, make sure you always put the ball in their court so they don't lowball you. Okay. Like I said, that's a tricky question for a lot of people. And oftentimes you might come in with a price in mind, right? With the salary in mind. But what ends up happening is you're kind of afraid. You're afraid to lowball yourself, but you're also afraid to go too high, right? If you go too high, that might shut them down, and they might shut you down and say it's a no, a hard no. If you go too low, you might be undervaluing yourself, right? Well, they're already going to do that for you. If you ever give an employer a price range, so to speak, or a pay rate, and you go from, say, I want to make between 150 and 170, well, you just shot your own self in the foot, because they're going to go for the lowest point. There was no negotiation to be had. You said you'd go as low as 150 and as high as 170. Even if they would have paid you 170 or more, if you told them the lowest point on the pay scale that you would be willing to go was 150, then that's what they're going to give you. That's what they're going to offer, right? And then it's going to be harder to come back from that, because you are the one who gave that starting point. Do you know what I'm saying? So even when I see a job description, when the employer will put out the pay rate or the pay scale on the job description, which they should. Not all of them do, but the best employees usually do. Okay, this is not any guesswork, right? We need to know what we're going to come in getting paid. So if they said on their job description that they are offering between 150 and 170, always start at the highest rate. Now, going back to me saying put the ball back in their court, what do I mean by that and how do you do that? Don't answer the question right away. So let me just tell you something. Recruiters are put in a position to negotiate. They negotiate all day, every day with hundreds, if not thousands of applicants and candidates who are well qualified people for the position. And so they're really good at this. They are experts, okay, if they've been trained well. They do much more negotiating than you could even dream of, right? So they're going to usually have the upper hand, and you might not be prepared for that in a verbal discussion. So we're going to get to that shortly, that you need to put it in writing. But before we even do that, putting the ball back in their court means when they give you a number, you just say, you know what? Well, first of all, when they ask you what your expectations are, salary expectations, instead of saying what the number is, instead of saying what the number is, you can let them know, you know what? I don't have a number in mind just yet. I'm going to give you a couple different ways you can go about this. I don't have a number in mind just yet. But given the information that I've provided you, given the fact that you've already reviewed my impressive resume, right? Given my extensive background, my skill set, my level of education, my expertise that I'm bringing, what would you typically pay someone who is in a position like I've been, or who have had positions like I've had, in this kind of role? You know, or what does this role specifically entail? Because I would expect fair compensation according to that. What is the market rate currently for this type of position? Like, make them do more talking. Back them up in the corner. Don't be afraid to ask them the hard questions. Say, yeah, you know, the salary is certainly negotiable. I'm open to negotiate the rate. But what is the pay scale for this position? What would you typically pay somebody who has my background? Okay, like I just said, my skill set, my level of education, my expertise. What would you normally pay somebody to come into a position like this, considering all of that, right? And it also depends too on how quickly are they trying to hire? Is this a critical to fill role, right? Do they need somebody yesterday? Is the predecessor still there, right? Or did they leave? Is this a newly created role? You know, will there be training involved? How will you be oriented to the position? Like, all of these things are factors that need to be going into how you're going to, you know, to get your wheels turning as to how you're going to negotiate. And to get them to think as well, okay, she's not new to this. She's true to this, okay? She knows a little something about negotiating. And she's not going to just take the first number we throw at her. You understand what I'm saying? So first of all, find out what they're going to pay you, or what they're willing to negotiate between what number, and then go for the highest number to start. Because most times they'll give you the middle ground, right? They'll like, realistically, the pay scale from the lowest end to the highest end might really be 130,000 at the low end, and the high end might really be 175,000. They usually will take the middle cut and say, we're going to go with between maybe either 130 to 150, or they might say 150 to say 165-ish. They're never going to go to the highest end because they are leaving some wiggle room for themselves. So you've got to leave some wiggle room for yourself by starting at the high end, which if that's 150 or 170 or whatever it is, right? If whatever number they give you, always go 10 to 20% higher. And I know that can be scary to some people when you're not confident, right, in your abilities to negotiate. But you don't have to be an expert negotiator to get what you want out of the deal. Okay? So always start at the higher end or go 10 to 20% above the rate they're giving you. And then, if nothing else, they'll come down to the highest end of the scale where they might have to max you out. But then you also got to consider too, what is the benefit compensation package looking like, right? So take that into consideration as well, because if you've got a really good benefits compensation package, in addition to you're going to get bonuses, there's some extra perks, right? And good pay, then that's a great complete package. Now, that also translates into business, as I mentioned earlier. How so? Because if you are a contractor and you are working to get deals or contracts with big name brands or organizations, right? Working, not working for corporate America as a W-2, but again, as a 1099 or independent contractor, you're going to, be it for workshops, speaking engagements, or whatever it is you're trying to negotiate, you want to be crystal clear on the process. And you need the same level of confidence to go approach your boss or the HR person or whomever's in charge, right, of giving you the promotion at your job, or to get your foot in the door into the job. Which, by the way, if you're not happy with, if you don't feel satisfied with the end result and the outcome of that process, you can decline even after the offer. Just so you know. Okay? Especially if a better deal comes along, because maybe you were in negotiation with other employers. Same is true for the different corporations or organizations or companies that you are trying to get a contract with. You should be confident enough to know, look, this is how it works. This is what I want out of it. This is what I'm looking to achieve. This is what has to happen. I'm not accepting anything less. And don't, okay? You don't need to accept mediocrity, because we are not mediocre people. We are ambitious women, okay? We are high achievers. We know what we want and we don't stop until we get it. We go after what we want and we don't stop until we get it, right? So when you know what you know, and you want what you want, then you make sure that you lay that out on the table from the get-go and let them know that this is what time it is, okay? And if they cannot accommodate that, see, there's different negotiation styles, and I'm not going to go into that, but just know you've got to be more firm in your decision, more solid. You have to have clarity around all of this process, and you need to make sure that you go in with, being a little bit more aggressive. And by aggressive, I mean saying, okay, it sounds like they're trying to lowball me. I'm going to go 20% higher. Okay, so you push back, I'm going to push back, and here's my new price. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just got to be very confident. Okay, so that's all a part of sales, by the way. Okay, and so I'm not going to get too deep in the psychology of that, but you've got to be confident. You've got to be more assertive and aggressive. You got to turn on that, different mindset, right? You got to move from that employee to employer mindset and take ownership of this. Okay. This is your baby. This is your project. This is your livelihood. This is your business. This is your, you know what I mean? It's yours to own. So don't be afraid to own it. Step into your power. Or pivot in another direction, because somebody out there is going to give you what you're asking for. You've just got to be willing to keep going after it and don't stop until you get it. Be unstoppable. Okay, which is my word of the year, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Okay, I wanted to share. So there is definitely psychology around all of this that I wanted to make sure you understood, and the common mistakes that women make that I want you to steer clear of is really lacking the ability, lacking the level of confidence that you need, thinking you need to be an expert negotiator, stopping too soon, Not starting at all, not negotiating at all, just settling for less, taking what they give you, letting them push you in the corner, and you do nothing. No, you got to come out swinging. You understand? You have to come out swinging. You got to let them know who's in charge here. You're in charge of you. You are. You understand? You're in charge of you. So you've got to let them know. You got to let them know that you are in charge of you by the way that you approach the negotiation situation. Okay? So don't let them, lowball you. Don't let them make you feel like you've got to settle for anything less than what you're asking for, because guess what, you got to be the one who can sleep at night knowing what you know now and accepting what you accepted, because it's going to be harder to go back after the fact than it would be for you to simply just from the beginning, right, to make sure that this is known out front to everybody who's involved. Okay, so, and I was saying earlier too, almost forgot, thank God for a good memory. So always get it in writing. See, the first go rounds, they're going to always try to do it verbally. See, but what happens verbally is that negotiation process might take a little bit of time. They're talking to a lot of different people, right? And during that time frame, messages can be misunderstood. There can be, misinformation, right? You may have not heard something a certain way, or they pretended they didn't say it. Like, everything should be in writing, because that makes it official. So always, even if you know what you want out of it, and even if they get negotiated a good deal with you that you want to take, always say, okay, give me a day or two or a few days even to think about this and to follow up with you with my final decision. Now, you're going to take that time to just run the numbers back to make sure you're good with the negotiation and the set what you two agreed, mutually agreed on, right? You and all of the involved parties. And then you're going to go back, you're going to put this in writing and say, been a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you entertaining the idea of, whatever the project is. This is what I understood from our conversation. And I would just kind of quickly bullet point, okay, we talked about this. Would you please respond to this email and let me know, basically what transpired from our conversation, so that I'm clear and what I'm understanding, we negotiated. Like, make them say it. But you can also say, you can also list things out so that they're clear in what you understood. And then I'd make them respond to it so that they're agreeing, and then they can add to that before you come up with your final decision, right? So I just wanted to make sure that you were clear on that. Now, that's all I really wanted to say about negotiating, right? Just really kind of those few tips there. Now, if you want to learn how to negotiate more, if you are looking to transition from your 9 to 5 or the corporate arena altogether and get into the business world, online business specifically, right? Utilizing your skill set, leveraging the digital space, the platforms like YouTube and other social media, but I think YouTube is the best, of course, for a lot of reasons. I think this should be, it's not to say you shouldn't be on other platforms. For sure, I think you should, because you want to establish a social media presence. But I think for evergreen purposes and for the purposes of where your audience really lives, and that people will be searching out what you're putting out, you know what I mean? And for so many other reasons, this YouTube is great, especially for business owners, right? This is a great lead generation tool, okay, to keep people in your pipeline that are your ideal clients. And if you want to learn how to do all of these things, if you want to learn anything about leaving America, not just corporate America, but maybe America, even if it's temporary, maybe you just have always dreamed of going outside of the US and traveling there, living there, being partial residents in another country, right? And still you can have your foot in America still, right? You can always come back, because you're never going to give up your rights to be here, right? And your residency here, of course, because you are an American after all. but you can also still go elsewhere. I mean, people are moving all around the world to Ghana, parts of Africa, Portugal, right? Um, just so many places, Costa Rica, like just you name it. People are Venezuela, like the people are just moving around. Black women specifically, like there is something to be said about the number of women that are moving abroad, right? Even if you're not settled in one place, maybe you just want to visit a few places and bounce around. You don't want to take residency necessarily. There's ways to do that. If you are not necessarily wanting to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, because it's not for everybody. I'll be the first to admit, not everybody should be a business owner or an entrepreneur. I completely get it. And if that's true for you, but maybe you're tired of the commute. Maybe you're commuting to and from work, right? And that's wear and tear on your body, quality of life, gas, the prices of gas, inflation, right? Just all of that. And just spending so much time in a car, so much time away from your family, your loved ones, and then not doing what you want to do for yourself, neglecting your own needs. If that sounds like you and you want to just work remotely, but you can't quite find how to get a remote job, right? 100% remote, meaning you can live anywhere in the world and work from anywhere, like really the laptop lifestyle. If that's what you want while staying in the corporate arena, this summit is still for you, because we are also going to have somebody there sharing with you exactly how to do that and to talk to you about how to negotiate. Okay. Going much deeper than what I did here. I just kind of touched this surface level conversation, but they're going to go deep. Okay. If you want to learn how to heal from a toxic or a hostile work environment or a toxic job, if you want to heal from that, if you are in that right now and you want to know how to get out and you want to know how to deal with it from a legal standpoint, we have speakers, phenomenal speakers, that are going to be talking to you about that process. If you want to learn how to get your money right, okay, and that's a lot of times what holds women back from leaving a 9-to-5 or leaving corporate America, because they're afraid, how am I going to replace my income? How am I going to take care of myself and my family? How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to do this, that, and the third? How am I going to live this leisure lifestyle that I'm used to? Like, I don't want to give all of that up. You can have the best of both worlds, or you can leave altogether and replace your income. Okay. Now, I typically would talk about that, but it's going to be actually another speaker who's a financial psychologist. Okay. And she is just outstanding. You're going to get a lot of information from her. So, we're going to be talking about just healing. We're going to be talking about how to be holistically well. We're going to be talking about how to get you out of a job and into business, and how to start and grow a business, and how to travel around the world, like all of these amazing things, and so much more. So much more. We have so many different types of just phenomenal women. I can't say that enough, but there's going to be women from all walks of life, right? We're speaking to women over, 40, 50, 60 and beyond, right? Gen Xers, baby boomers, maybe some older millennials might be there. We're going to be speaking to, well, actually, yeah, there will be from older millennials, baby boomers, all the way up to baby boomers, right? They're going to also be, the women who are speaking, I mean, highly educated, very articulate women, very just have done a lot of things in their arena, right? Have worked a long time themselves, very well established in business, but also in corporate America. And they really know what they're talking about, okay? Many of us, from nurses to doctors to therapists to, like all the credentials and then some, right? So very intelligent, educated, highly educated, well-qualified women, right? Some of us are best-selling authors. Some of us are well-known in the industry, right? Like, so it's going to be so good. It is not a conversation you would want to miss. It is not an event you would want to miss. It is the virtual event of the year for Black women exclusively. We are talking to you. We are catering to you. We are serving you. If you are of the LGBTQ plus community, if you are a woman over 40, as I mentioned, if you are definitely a Black woman, right? We want you in the room. Okay, so make sure, I'm going to leave the link below in the pinned comment, as I have been doing for each live stream over the last week or so, because I've been talking about this since last Monday. And that's when tickets went on sale. They're still on sale. They'll be on sale until the 15th. So that date will be soon coming, right? We know that date all too well because it's the tax date deadline, right? So make sure you get in while you can, because tickets are going to go to regular price after the 15th. Okay, so you have some time right now, but you want to reserve your spot today. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait for it to be too late and then come complaining to me, because I've already told you, okay, again and again and again, and I can't stress enough how valuable this is going to be for you. And if you get the all access pass, now both tickets are very affordable, okay, very affordably priced. However, if you get the all access ticket, you get 3 bonuses with that. Actually, I would say maybe even 5 bonuses, really, because you're going to be able to show up live. You're going to get the replays for the entire year, okay? So you can have time to absorb the information, process what you've learned, work through each session, go back as many times as you need to and rewatch those videos, right? Take notes, like do all the things and really do the work, the deeper work. Then you're going to get 3, I want to say 3 sessions, 3 or 4, I can't recall exactly, but let's just say 3 for now. And you can go to the information page. I'm just going off the top of my head. You're going to be able to get the information, or what was I saying? Well, they're gonna, because other things popped into my mind, but so I think it's Dr. Roche who's going to do the financial piece. So you get a Zoom call with her, and then I can't remember the other 2 speakers who's going to do what, but it'll all be there on the information page. Okay, so when you click the link, it will take you to the registration page. That registration will have all the information you need. It's not going to be just another virtual summit. It is going to be lots of information to help you through your transformation, okay? And to help you feel holistically well, to feel whole, to feel complete, to feel happy again, to get your youthfulness back, to feel more energetic, more lively, more motivated, more inspired, more empowered, more liberated. We are liberating as many women, Black women as we possibly can from a regular 9-to-5 job, from the corporate world and the traditional systems that are in place that we are used to, that we have been told and brainwashed to believe that this is the way to freedom, that this is our path to success. These are lies we've been sold and we have bought into time and time again, and we've got to get away from that brainwashing. And that's more or less, in a nutshell, what this summit, this big event is all about, okay? So make sure you show up, not just for us. It's going to be 15 plus speakers there. Make sure you show up for you, okay? So that's the first announcement I wanted to make for sure. Future plans. Let me talk about that, okay? Because you can go read about all the benefits, but I wanted to just make sure, of course, I would be remiss to not mention it here as I'm live with you. But as far as what I'm going to be doing and how you can keep up with me, I'm going to still do 3 videos a week, okay? I drop new content Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, same time, same place, okay? So you can always keep up and catch up and keep up with me by watching my content there. You can also tap into my community tab, where I'm going to be posting a lot more there. So any announcements that I have, anything I have going on, and you want to kind of, get a feel for what's going on with Coach Katrina in my world over here, then you definitely should stay tapped in right there. I might do a live stream here and there just to kind of give you some updates as well, but they won't be promised, live streams. It won't be committing myself or obligating myself to a particular schedule like I'm doing now for this series, okay, and like I've done previously. But it'd be sort of an impromptu thing, right? But what I might consider is and really strongly considering. I just don't know when I'm going to bring it back and how I'm going to roll it out this time. But I did a series last year called The Resuscitation Room. All right. And women really enjoyed that conversation. And I'm really considering bringing that back, but this time incorporating the daily dose there, excuse me, rather than doing a daily dose every single day. If I do that, it would be weekly, more than likely on Wednesdays, because that's Wellness Wednesdays, and that's typically when I did it, right? And that would be on a routine schedule, same time. So it would either be in the morning, somewhere between 8 and 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and whatever that equates to for you, if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or wherever you are in the world, okay? Of course, I'd love for you to be there live, but you can always catch the replay when that happens. And by the way, catch the plays of all of my live streams that I've done here, Resuscitation Room, Daily Dose of Vitamin D3, and all the things, okay? Because they're both very impactful in different ways. But we're having the same kinds of conversations, and the theme is still always the same because these are my content pillars, okay? So I'll make that announcement for sure on a live stream when I'm ready for that to happen, when I'm going to actually go live and give you the dates as to when that will go into effect. I will also put it in the, I'll talk about it on my other, the main scheduled content that I put out. I'll make sure you're aware. I'll also put it in the community tab and just whatever way I can get the message out there. Okay. I might do, some shorts about it, some short content, right? Just to kind of put the word out. So just stay in tuned and tapped in, and you'll be abreast of what's going on. And then I'm proposing to do, and I have to say, I'm really strongly considering doing this. Now, it used to be back in the day, I did not believe in the membership subscription model. I'll just put that out there and tell the truth on that. But I've had a change of mind, okay, and a change of heart for a number of reasons. And I'm really strongly considering doing a membership. However, I have not yet decided whether or not I'm going to do a free or paid membership, but I'm definitely leaning towards the paid membership because here's the thing. I am a business owner, first and foremost, okay? I am not a content creator first. I am a business owner, and as a business owner who is virtually 100% online, right? We have to market ourselves and promote our services and our paid offers. That's part of how we get paid, right? In this space, we use digital platforms and leverage those in order to bring about brand awareness. See, people are confused about how you get paid as a business owner using these platforms, but you're never going to get paid, almost never, strictly by being on these platforms. You got to take people off the platforms, okay? But I've done videos on that, and that's not this conversation. But I do want to mention that for those of you who might be unclear about how you actually get paid being online as a business owner in this space. It's not true that you would be getting paid just by being on social media. But we use this to establish credibility. We are establishing ourselves in this arena, right, as the authoritative, or the authority rather in our industry, the expert in our fields, right? We are establishing ourselves as the leaders that we already are. We are transforming lives. We are giving information. We are allowing you to see, how our teaching methodologies, our style, our methods, how we're approachable, we're allowing you to feel our energy like you're getting a test drive, right? You're getting to taste test, so to speak, just like people do when you go into a Costco or whatever other stores they have that, where they get in the mall and they give you a little sample on a little toothpick, right? You're getting a taste before you buy. You try before you buy. That's what this is. It's brand awareness. It's credibility, right? It's all of the things that I just named and then some. And so that's really why we're here. And then once you've had that, you'll be more inclined to work with us, to invest in yourself, right? To buy our products and our services and our merch and all the things. And so I say all that to say that I don't know that it would really be worth my time to do a free membership. And I understand the psychology behind doing that if my main reason for doing it was simply to build community. But it isn't. It's partially because I'm doing that here. Okay. I'm doing that here, and I'm doing that on, I'm not even really focused as much anymore on other platforms other than LinkedIn, but mostly here. I'm already building a community. Okay. I'm already monetized in other ways. So I never had to really depend on, thank God, YouTube AdSense, but I'm working my way towards that as well as another income stream. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me with where I'm at in business, really, for me to create one more free resource for people who just want, who are freebie seekers and are looking for discounts, right? And why that's important as a business owner, not just a content creator, although I think, content creators should also adapt the same mindset or adopt the same mindset. And that is, yes, we're here to make a big impact, but we're also here to make a big income, okay? Because we got to keep the doors open. Just like all of these other businesses, big businesses, Target, Walmart, any high-end store you can name, any grocery store, supermarket, any car dealership, any place that's selling homes, whatever, Amazon, anybody you can think of who's a business, right? Any business, big or small. But let's go with the big businesses. We small business owners need to adopt that same mindset. We always got to be selling because that's how we got to keep our doors open, right? If you want to be in business, while you're adding value, which is what we're doing here, which is another other reason that I didn't list earlier, we're adding value for free already on these platforms. So then why would I necessarily have a free membership on top of what I'm already giving for free? Now, what I might consider is to have tiers. Maybe if it's not too much work for me or my team, we can do a free tier and then maybe a next level up tier where it's like just a nominal fee. And then, maybe a mid tier, and then you work your way up. I don't know what that would really look like. But I am doing this as a business owner to make money. I am in business. That means I'm exchanging my time and level of expertise and the information I have up here, right? My years of experience, my educational background, my frameworks, my teaching methodologies, my philosophies, and all that, packaging that up, walking you through the process, meeting you where you are in the journey to give you a transformation, right? Or at least part of the solution, depending on what it is you're investing in. So again, I'm really leaning towards the paid membership for monthly recurring revenue. And that's why I believe in that now. How I'm going to structure it, I don't know yet. I haven't worked out all of those details. As you can see, I'm talking through this with you out loud, and I'm just being real and being honest. Okay. I just don't believe that as a business owner, we need to be doing that many things for free, because then when do we make money for our business? You know what I mean? That's not good business practice. So we're exchanging, you're paying us in exchange to learn what we know so you can get to the level of success that we have reached and beyond. You're paying for the transformation, the outcome as a result of working with me or whomever it is you're choosing to work with, right? That is why you hire a business coach. So sure, I can give away information for free on my other social media platforms. I have free resources in my description box. I talk about that all the time on my live streams and on my regularly scheduled content, videos that go out. And I'm here, consistently giving you value. So at what point do you expect me as a business owner to charge? And that's where I'm saying so many people got it twisted. You're coming from a place of an employee. But I bet you would not keep going to a job, not even, you don't own your own business. You're not going to keep showing up at a job and work for free. At what point are you expecting your paycheck? Every 2 weeks? Every week if you're getting paid weekly? Every month or twice a month, whatever it is? Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, Miss Ma'am. You're expecting a paycheck like clockwork consistently. That's allowing you to be stable and feel secure and pay your bills and keep a roof over your head, right? Pay your car note, put some food in your fridge, put your kids through college, whatever, right? Buy that new house, do some leisure activities. Yeah, you're expecting to get paid, or you wouldn't be working at that employer for long, would you? So it's the same thing. No more than you're going to work for free at your job should we keep working for free as a business owner. You feel what I'm saying? So when people show up and saying things like, oh, I can't believe you charging that much. I can't believe you expect somebody to pay you, and all that whole attitude. It's like, girl, see, that those are the people that you don't need to be in business. Just go on and stay at a job. You know what I'm saying? Just stay just over broke at a job. And even if you're making great money, some people make great money and still live paycheck to paycheck. And that job is not secured. And you're capped at a certain rate. Okay? And you can't go but so far in that job. So, and you're not necessarily fulfilled, no matter how high up the ladder you climbed. Once you hit that proverbial glass ceiling and outgrew the corporate building, you still ain't happy. So, yeah, so that's where my mind is, okay? And I'm just trying to figure out what I really want to do. But those are some of the things that I'm thinking about. I'm also going to be bringing back, well, I think I'm going to do more tutorials. But what I haven't decided yet is if I'm going to do more tutorials on the main platform here or in a membership site. Now, in a membership site, by the way, it's not going to be a membership on YouTube because, see, I'm about ownership. And these are just platforms that allow us to borrow their space. We're renting right now for free. But it's not really free because it's costing us our time and our energy and our efforts, right? So I'm not willing to negotiate that since we're talking about negotiation, right? So what I'm going to do is not leave that up for chance because at any time, anybody's account can get disabled. They can shut YouTube down and close the doors. Anything can happen with the economy, like you just never know. I allowed that to happen to me one time and one time only on Facebook, and I never allowed it to happen again or since. And that's speaking of Facebook, in case you weren't aware, not that this is a Facebook platform, but just to make mention, if you have any live streams on Facebook right now, Meta sent out an email. If you didn't get it, check your spam or junk folders. And they are saying that if you have any old live streams on there, they're going to be deleting those and you won't be able to access them any longer on, I think the last day is or the day they're going to do this is June 28th or 29th. So mark your calendars and make a note of that in case you hadn't heard. If you have any videos, any live streams, whatever your old content is, go ahead and download it right now, or it won't be available to you later. Okay. So I've been doing that anyways. Thankfully, I've just something that I felt like I needed to do along the way because I'm always repurposing my content. But again, it's about ownership. So I've been downloading IG. Most of my IG content's on TikTok. TikTok's on shorts for YouTube. You know, all the short content, they've been just kind of mixed and matched. Okay. Because that's a part of my strategy. So that's what my social media manager has done. And that's what I've done too when I've posted. So, but if you don't have those, and then a lot of my other content is in StreamYard as far as live streams, and those I automatically download. And we have a whole host of, you can use a platform like Dropbox, a storage platform like Dropbox, or just Google, right? Put it in your Google Drive, make folders specifically for that. And also back it up on a flash drive, right? Or USB port. I forget what you call it. Is that USB port? I think I'm saying that right. So anyways, you know what I mean, flash drive. So And just make sure you have a backup to all of these things, because you just never know. So download all of your content, especially if you're on Facebook right now, but also on Instagram, TikTok, and all the places that you are. Okay. But I think I was saying something before that. But anyways, I'll let you know what I'm going to do, what the decision is, the final decision I've made as far as what I'm going to do when it comes to this membership site. Okay, because I was saying I'm going to take it off of YouTube, and it's going to be on an entirely different platform that I own. How do I own it? I didn't necessarily create it, right? The platform itself. But what I will be doing is paying for it. So anything that you pay for, you're taking ownership of, right? Like your email list, your membership site, right? Your, whatever your platforms are outside of the social media platforms and YouTube, because you don't own those things. Okay. So no more than you would be building your house on somebody else's land, which is what you're doing here. You should be taking people off of social media to nurture the relationship, build more trust, and eventually those people will buy from you, right? But you can't just be solely dependent on this platform or any other for that matter. Okay. So, those are the main announcements. And I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else that I wanted to share that I haven't shared already in this live stream or the previous ones. Definitely go back and watch the replay for any of my live streams. Certainly check out any content I have here that's applicable to you and where you are in the journey right now. And make sure you come to the Job Liberation Summit for Black women. I can't stress that enough. If you yourself are not a Black woman, that's okay. Make sure you tag somebody who is, that you know, a friend of yours, a colleague, maybe even a co-worker that you're really cool with, right? An acquaintance, an associate, your entrepreneur entourage, your biz bestie, somebody, anybody, everybody that you know who can benefit from this amazing event. One of a kind, very unique, designed just for you. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to take a poll on my community tab and just kind of gauge where you guys are and what you're feeling as far as the membership. I know everybody's going to try to talk me into a free membership, and I just really don't think I'm going to go that route. I'm just going to tell you right now. So the question is going to be, what would you be willing to pay? And then what would be, and I'm thinking, it probably wouldn't be any more than $97, maybe somewhere between $47 and $97. And then I can talk about what it would include or what it is you would like to be included. Now, it has to be within my wheelhouse and within my niche. And the only people who would be allowed into this membership, by the way, are the people that I cater to, which are my ideal client avatar. And that is women over 40 who's looking to transition out. You're already established and successful in your corporate career, and you're looking to transition out and start a business, okay, in the online space, or you're already a seasoned entrepreneur, or perhaps still in your newbie phase, or perhaps, you're developing and growing, wherever you are in the journey, okay, from beginning to end, from concept to development. We're talking about that and everything else in between. If you want to learn how to build an aligned and profitable online brand and business without compromising your health and happiness or sacrificing your soul and sanity. In other words, you want to prioritize your health, healing, and happiness and establish a sisterhood, have a safe space to congregate, a community to build with, a community of like-minded women, and you're wanting to learn with each other and grow with each other and connect with each other and collaborate with each other on the journey with a leader like me, then this will be a community for you. Women over 40, women of color, not just Black women, although this event is just for Black women. I cater to women of color, all shades of brown. Okay, so different ethnicities and the whole diaspora, okay, for African Americans and Africans and, Caribbean people and, all of that. So, and if you were of the LGBTQ plus community, identifying as a woman, okay, then you are welcome. So all walks of life are welcome. Okay. So that's who the community will be for. And my battery's running low. We're almost at about an hour, actually, hitting just an hour now and almost getting to the top of the hour. So I thank you so much for tuning in to me. Stay tapped in, stay connected, stay in touch. And, you know, if you need any help at all with anything as far as making the transition, you know, just devising your exit strategy, if you are looking to build and, you know, grow your business, if you want to set up for scaling or any of those things, if you want a profitable business but you want it to be aligned with your deepest aspirations and your core values, so you can live life on your terms, right, and really design the life you love and the one you dream of, desire, and definitely deserve, then definitely hop on a call with me. Okay, and we can hash through the details of that and get you well on your way and put you on your path to freedom. And that's what this is all about, putting you on your path to freedom. Okay, so I hope that you will take some time to reflect and just looking at anything else I have written here so I don't forget and then get off the live stream and wish I had looked back at my notes. But this has been exciting times. I'm going to be doing so many more speaking engagements, talking to women around the world. I'm looking forward to going on a trip with one of my close colleagues to Africa. I am just waiting for her to send me the details on that. I am super excited about that opportunity. This will be the first time I've been to the motherland. Okay. I cannot wait. My son and I have some things up our sleeves with regard to real estate. Okay. He just passed his real estate exam. So shout out to my son at Who Is Blessed. I mean, he did the damn thing. Okay. We're looking to do some exciting things in music together. That's our first love for the both of us. So just be on the lookout for those things, as well as I will continue, of course, to coach and consult, because that's also something I'm passionate about. I'm going to be doing a lot of work in the community, getting more heavily involved like I once was, right? And lately, you know, and then just working on some projects, you know, strategic partnerships. I'll be in the corporate space a lot, not ever as a W-2 employee, but always as a contractor. So I'm looking forward to some deals I got in the works right now for that, going through that process. I'm looking forward to working with some amazing, phenomenal women in this space who are well-known industry leaders and coaches and consultants. And I've got that lineup ready to go. So I'll be making an investment there. I'm working on more grants as a part of my revenue strategy. So like, it's just a whole lot going on, and I'm just receiving a shower of blessings upon blessings upon blessings. And I'm so thankful for, so grateful. Glory be to God, honey. I cannot do this without him. Okay. So I am very thankful. All praises to him. I'm doing the work now, you know, because faith without works is dead. Now, I do have unwavering faith, and it ain't always easy. Okay. I won't pretend like it is, but I definitely am committed. Loyal to my legacy, committed to my transformation and changing the trajectory of my life. And so I'm on track, y'all. Ready for that $1 million year, that 7-figure business and beyond, because that allows me more freedom and more options and the resources that I need to do bigger and better and bolder things. And I'm so looking forward to a brighter future for myself and my family, my loved ones, and the people that I am called to serve, right? The contributions I want to make, the things I want to do in life that's going to be for the greater good of humanity, that just puts me in a stronger position when I have the financial resources and when I'm networking and building relationships with the right people. That means a lot, right? Because then I can get into spaces that I wouldn't otherwise have access to or even be privy to and didn't even know existed. And that's what I want for you too. So I have more clients who need to be served. I need to reach out and do more things in the community. I need to contribute to worthy causes that I care about, which I'm doing all of these things anyway, but I'm talking about at scale. on a much bigger scale than what I can do right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we are not able to do so much in corporate America. Even when we're making great money, we don't have the time or the energy, and we're taxed out and maxed out, you know, because they cap us at a certain dollar amount. And so learn how to be a better negotiator for yourself, and don't settle for less, because you are deserving of so much more. So I hope this has been a really valuable series for you. This has been an impactful series for me, to be able to shine my light on you and be the sunshine in your day and give you the supplement you need to take in, and where you feel lack, where you feel inadequate, where you feel deficient, you know, that imposter syndrome that comes up in every aspect of your life where you just feel like you're missing something. Go back and watch some of these replays. Okay, in this particular live stream series that we've been doing for 90 days now, and then just go back and look at what might be applicable to you and where you are right now, because I'm sure you can find something of value to you to help you through your, you know, challenging time, because this is just a moment in time, and this too shall pass. But right now, get what you need and get what you came for. Okay, now let's see if I have any more updates at all. I don't think so. Just want to finally encourage you to embrace this negotiation process. I can't say that enough. It's, you know, it's really not just a skill. It's a vital part of your personal and professional development. You know what I mean? It really and truly is. This will take you far. If you are in a position of financial constraints, or feeling restricted or limited, or if you're feeling lack or scarcity in any way, if you're operating from that place, that mindset, right? If that is your current reality, if you're broke, if you just have, you know, little to no money, if you are just working paycheck to paycheck and all of that kind of stuff, you really need to learn the skill and the art and the science behind negotiation, and definitely the psychology. Okay? Definitely learn that, because you're going to need that in sales. There is a psychology behind that, how the human brain thinks and how we are emotional buyers. There's a whole lots of training and books around that. And in fact, I'll make sure I include that in the pinned comments too. I got to think of the name of the book. I haven't read it in a while. I'll have to go to my library and take a look, and I'll pin that in the comments below. If you want a really good book that teaches you how to sell and how to negotiate and sell psychology and all of that, I'll leave that resource for you as well, okay? And I'm so sure you can get that on Amazon as well. Okay, I think that is it. And that is my time. We are a little bit over the length of time I had anticipated going, but with this being the grand finale, I had to give it all I got, right? I had to give you all I have. And I told you I'm going to do that at the top of the hour, and I meant it, okay? I am a woman of my word. So that is exactly what we did here today. And I hope that I have served you well. Listen, if you are just tapping in towards the end here, I appreciate you tuning in or perusing through and seeing what I'm talking about. But you are more than welcome to go back to the beginning and watch this replay, okay, of this live stream. But that is my time. So I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends. Okay, as always, and until next time, and there will be a next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.